Hey guys, what's going on today? I'm still getting those black lines from the lights. I'd like to change them in here eventually. But today, what are we doing? We are working on the Summit. We have a 2.5 inch paddle that needs to go on there. Now, I have been pecking away at this sled slowly. We already pulled the skid out. That did happen. I believe it was off camera. I don't remember if we recorded it. Now, it's super easy to take the skid out. One bolt here, one on the other side. Up front here, there's one bolt there, one on the other side. Pick the sled up, loosen the track off, and the skid just slides out. I have been working on it a little bit over the past few weeks here. The old track, I actually just cut it off. Now, it wasn't really usable in terms of selling or keeping as a spare. It had a lot of pick pull throughs. It was a 1 3/4. It was missing probably 20% of its lugs. You could see the cording all over the place. We did a number on that track last year, so it's no longer good to go. So we're gonna replace it. We're actually gonna put a 2.5 on this time, and this sled's going to live a lot further north for now on. So we have to pull the drive shaft out here. Now, I should have done this earlier. I already had the chain case off probably a month ago. But I'm going to pull off the chain case cover here. Okay, we're going to drain out all the oil. I don't have my drain pan here, so I'm just going to use an orange juice jug and cut it, catch all the oil. Make sure we don't make too big of a mess in the trailer here. I didn't bother cleaning it up because I knew I was doing this again in the future. So we're going to pull the chain case cover off, and then I'm going to undo the gear back here, remove it from the drive shaft. If there's anything keeping the bearing in there, like a snap ring, anything like that, we'll take it out. I'm not 100% sure. I've never pulled a drive shaft on one of these XP chassis, but I do know on the other side, now we may not get to that today because it's a little tight in the trailer here, but we have to use a special puller to pull the caliper off of the bearing on the drive shaft. Now I do have that. I have replacement bearings, and we're going to slowly peck away at this. Next time you see me in another clip, I know I'll have this off. I'll record a bit of that, but it'll probably be quite a few days from now when we actually start to finish this project. We're here a couple days later. I did take off the chain case cover on the other side. While I loosened it, I drained all the oil. I'm going to leave that side for now so I don't have the chain case open, and I'm not going to fill it with any debris. What I'm actually going to work on right now is on this side. I'm going to take this little brake rotor cover off here. Okay, and then I'm going to work on undoing the caliper, and I have a special puller to pull the caliper off the drive shaft. Once I get that off, I will be going on to the other side, and I'll take the cover for the chain case off. We'll undo the snap ring, undo the bolt, take the gear off. We'll pop the drive shaft out, and then we're gonna get that 2.5 paddle track in there. I'm gonna just keep updating you as we go. It's a little hard to record by myself for this job. We are a little cramped here in the trailer as well. And it is getting colder out, so I do have the heater running. I apologize if it's loud, but we are keeping the trailer warm while we are working here. So I'll keep you updated as we go. So I took off the little inspection cover there, 3 T30s. Now I'm actually going to take off the caliper bracket here with 4 T40s. There's 1, 2, a third one here, kind of hard to see, and a fourth one at the back. So I'm going to undo those 4 now. Got the 4 bolts out. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a little snap ring here. I'm just going to take that off with some snap ring pliers. And then there's a little piece at the back I have to go underneath with a hammer and a punch and rotate it so that it frees off the drive shaft. And then I'm going to go to the other side and undo the drive gear. Here's that plate with the locking tabs. Okay, this This holds the bearing in, and this is actually what the caliper threads into. The back side to hold the bearing, the front side holds the main plate of the caliper, and then these are those little tabs I was talking about that you have to twist lock in. So you just had to tap the plate out, and then you can pop it out of the back. It allows the drive shaft to move. Then when you reinstall it, you have to twist it back. And then when all your threads line up, you know you're good. Okay, cover off here. Just gonna undo the chain tension and back that right off. And we're just gonna have to take this gear off here. Okay, should just be a snap ring. I'll show that in a second. Okay, chain's very loose now. Lots of slop in there. On the other side, I just want to show you guys this. On this side, I just want to show you guys this retaining ring. It was right there. I pointed to it earlier. All I did was tap it with a punch that way and just push it out. And then when I put it back in, later I'm just going to stick it in the hole, put a punch this way, and tap it in to lock it. So snap rings off on the other side. The gear's out. I wiped out the chain case. Now I've just taken this little puller, and once you pull the gear off on the other side, you can slide the drive shaft this direction. And all I've done is put this puller through the disc, and then I rotated it till it butts into the caliper mounts. And then all we're going to do is insert the washer that came with the puller right here, and we're just going to tighten this up, and it should pull the caliper off of the bearing. So I'll do my best to get this on camera here, and then I'll show you what the puller looks like afterwards. This one I actually picked up from Grip and Rip Racing, but you can buy them from a couple other people. Where is it? There's a sticker on the wall here, right here. Grip and Rip Racing. That's where I got this puller from. But you can get them from a few other places. So I'll do my best to get this on camera. Okay, so we're just going to rotate this slowly. Yeah, you can kind of see it popping out. There we go. And it's just pulling the press fit caliper off of the bearing. The caliper mount actually holds, the caliper mount is actually the bearing housing for this particular snowmobile. Okay, so I'll skip to the end here when it pops off. Okay. Now the bearing's out, I'm just going to back the puller off. Okay. We'll get that out of there in a minute. I should be able to reach under the sled now. Okay, there we go. So here's the puller right here. Right, it's just going to reach in and grab on the ears. Okay, so this drive shaft should be free now, and I should be able to go under the sled and pull that shaft out. Okay, so we got the drive shaft out here. This bearing's very crusty. We're going to change those while we are changing the track. So, as you guys noticed, the old track's not in there. It was garbage, and I didn't want it to be in the way, so I'm not going to lie, I was lazy, and I just cut it out. So, I'm just going to put a little bearing puller on this, and then we're going to pull this bearing off. I'll show you that in a second. So, I got the bearing puller in here. Okay, 18 mil this time instead of 19. And I'm just going to see if I can walk this bearing off. I don't see any snap rings or anything like that. So, let me just grab an impact gun. Do this the lazy way. I did set this slightly off center because I'm using a thick washer and it has a hole in the middle. So, we'll get that off of the sled. And let's just see. Should just buzz right there. There it goes. There we go. We got the bearing out. Okay, we just drove the new bearing on here. Okay, put that O-ring back in. Make sure you guys clean up the corrosion in the plate. And then also what you want to do is make sure you don't forget to install it when you put the bearing on. Okay, so that's one side. Now we're going to work on changing the bearing in the chain case. Okay, so punched out the old seal, punched out the old bearing. Now we have a new seal and a new bearing to go in for the chain case. We installed the new bearings, put the new clip in, the seal. Didn't record this, but we just lifted the skid up, wrestled the new track in there. Well, used track. And now I'm just going to go on the other side and start reassembling the rotor and caliper and get that assembled into position. So I just slipped the caliper back in here, set the disc back on. Now all I'm going to do is slowly tighten in these bolts, drop a little bit of Loctite in on the threads, and just slowly walk around, tightening them one by one, just a little bit at a time. That way I can walk the bearing into the caliper mount. So we put in our 4 bolts, we walk the bearing carrier in, calipers in, rotates, snap rings on. Now we're just going to put the cover on. And I'm going to go on the other side and assemble the chain case. Every fucking day. Okay, so we got the new sliders on the skid here. I'm just going to lay the old ones on top, mark it. Just going to give it a quick cut and then we'll install our sliders. And I have a couple bogies to change and a couple bearings. But, nice and quick. Easy to do when the skid's already out. Okay, so we just put the new sliders on, cut them to length. I'm leaving the top idler wheels off, bearing's been changed. I'm going to have to change this bogie wheel after because I thought I bought the right ones and I bought the wrong millimeter. So I'm going to have to do another little order, get some more bogies for the center, but I can do them with the track in there. So we're just going to pick up the stone wheel a little bit, lift the track, slide it in. Unfortunately, we don't have enough hands to record this, but it's fairly simple to do. You don't have to do too much on this chassis. It being a long track, it just slides in, slides out, basically. Okay, so the undercarriage slid in nicely. We're just going to have to pull it back, tension the track a bit. 1 bolt here, 1 on the other side, and 1 bolt up at the front there, and 1 on the other side. And then this track will be installed. The only thing I haven't done yet, actually, is put the gear on the chain case. Kind of forgot about it. But we'll get there, and then all I have to do is retension the track. It just slid right in, no problem. Fairly easy on these 146s. I find skids are harder to do on 121s, but this one's not so bad. So, a little bit of struggling here, but we got it in. Obviously, it's easier to do a track when you can pick the back of the sled up with a hoist or something like that. But, you know what? It's in. I'm going to try this 2.5 out. Yes, it is used, but you know what? We'll see how I like it. If I like it, I'll order a new 2.5 for it. And yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe to see more from us. Thanks.